and I want to talk about Secretary Kennedy. Um, Steve, I'm pretty sure I know your point of view on this. What can be done for the tens of millions of people who share your concerns? What can be done to allay them or to fix what you think is broken, which spans from the policies of the administration and the secretary, but also these mass firings and resignations? What can be done from a practical point of view, politically, policy-wise, to address the concerns you have?
I don't think anything can be done unless you first start with getting rid of RFK. And that requires Republicans in Congress standing up. And you can go example by example of the things that this administration is doing, which are creating a healthcare crisis where one did not exist. The cuts in Medicaid, the cuts in NIH, the zeroing out of money for pediatric cancer. Pediatric cancer. We're going to do zero funds for pediatric cancer. We're going to take we're going to have AI check, help Medicare Advantage figure out whether or not to pre-approve procedures. Really? You want AI to figure that out rather than a doctor? I mean, there's just example after example of how the bureaucrats around RFK are creating a healthcare culture in this country that is going to lead to worse outcomes for American people and for their kids.
Beverly, how concerned are you about the concerns Steve is expressing?
Well, first of all, that's multi-layered. I want to start with one of the areas he did mention that I happen to agree with him on, which is the cutting of research funding. I think the way DOGE was implemented was not done carefully. And one of the things that has been talked about is how much money goes to universities. A lot of that is to research health issues. So I'm supportive. I think most taxpayers, Americans, do want to fund cancer research as well as a lot of other disabilities that Americans have to make sure that we can find treatments or cures. That being said, we have a medical establishment, a government bureaucracy that told us lies about the COVID vaccine. Instead of saying, here are your options, you need to figure out what's best for you. They said it was 100% effective, take all these boosters, then you won't get COVID. Obviously, that wasn't true. The mandates on masking, etc. I can go on. I didn't take the vaccine because I have an autoimmune disease, and I wasn't allowed to go into buildings in DC for a while, purely because I had a medical condition and couldn't take the vaccine. So there's a lot that went wrong during that whole time. And so I think people are rightly skeptical. Do I agree with everything that RFK does? No, I think there's a balance of looking at vaccines, trusting the ones that have proven research that have been around for decades, but questioning when new things come on the market and say, yeah, we have a right to try, give people this option, but don't mandate it. So I think for many people, it's refreshing to have somebody in there who they feel like is actually going to take a hard look at what's going on and not just go along with bureaucrats doing what they've always done. So I think for many people, he's a breath of fresh air, even though he's a complicated figure.
Huh. Good euphemism. Steve, for people who want hope that the outcomes that you're worried about won't happen. You're saying unless the Democrats can convince congressional Republicans to force Kennedy out, all the things you're worried about are a foregone conclusion. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
I think if the Congress, look, the Congress has an appropriations process, which many in the administration seem to be ignoring. But, Senate Republicans have fought hard to maintain the funding at NIH. Hopefully, Senate Republicans will prevail on that along with the Democrats. House Republicans have not fought as hard on that. I think we have to fight, in the Congress to try and get the administration to spend the money that has traditionally been spent on medical research in this country. And I think that the vast majority of Americans think that vaccine policy on measles, on polio, on a whole bunch of diseases has saved lives, has made their children better able to go to school, and people are for that. And there are many Republicans who are for that, and they need to stand up from Mitch McConnell to Bill Cassidy and fight for those outcomes.